How's it going, guys? It's T-Guy Ty here. Today I want to talk to you about my Citrine build. I think she can be really tanky, especially using a few unique synergies, and she can actually deal a decent amount of damage. Citrine isn't usually capable of getting overguard, but if you look at the top of my right of my screen, I did achieve that very easily. I'll go ahead and show you how. Just a quick demonstration. I'll go ahead and actually unpause the AI for this. All I need to do is hit them with my secondary weapon, and I get overguard. It's as simple as that. I could stand here. This is without her actual health tanking ability activated. I'll go ahead and show you how I do that. Now, this is a unique synergy, not just with Citrine, but with pretty much every single warframe that can deal fire damage in their abilities. Citrine's third ability is one of those abilities that does deal heat damage. So I'll go ahead and show that off to you now. First off, we have the secondary weapon. You're going to need this arcane if you want to pull off the strategy. It's going to be secondary fortifier. Now, this does go without saying that Citrine is a very tanky warframe, and she doesn't need this for her survivability. I just do find it to be a unique strategy that you can do with Citrine, and it doesn't hurt to throw extra survivability onto your build. Secondary Fortifier deals extra damage to Overguard, which is just amazing. And the reason why we're actually using it is because you gain 1 Overguard for every 100 damage dealt to an enemy's Overguard. That does usually just stick to the secondary weapon, but if you mod your heat onto it, you will proc fire damage onto your enemies. That goes without saying. But if the initial heat damage proc is still on the enemy, you can get kills with your Warframe abilities that also deal heat damage, and it'll stack on top of that initial heat proc. As long as you have decent enough status duration and the initial heat proc is still there, your Warframe abilities will count towards dealing secondary damage because you're just scaling up the damage of the first heat proc. There's a few other things I want to talk to you about. Citrine's first ability is just amazing. All of her abilities are amazing, to be honest. I really like her first ability for being supportive. Now, whenever I hit people with the first ability, you see the red crystals on their heads? They're more likely to drop health and energy orbs. The more you mod for strength, the higher that gets, and I do have a lot of strength on my build, because eventually, once I stack up my Molt Augmented, I want to be able to have enough strength to full armor strip with Pillage. So you're going to need like 400% ability strength, and that is not very easy to achieve, but I do achieve it with this build. As you can see, I'm not full armor stripping yet. I do still need to scale up my Molt Augmented. But even then, I can easily tank like all this stuff. I can deal a lot of damage if I wanted to, and she's just a really easy warframe to play in general. Just make sure that when you are playing, you keep your second ability active, or you will start taking a lot of damage that you do not want to take. Another synergy that I like, her third ability doesn't deal damage to enemies unless you've already dealt damage to them. It kind of prevents the AFK playstyle. And the Ogress leaves napalm on the ground over time. Now, with a black energy color on your Ogress, you're not going to actually show off the heat residue, the napalm, but it does lock down areas for your third ability to constantly deal damage. There's the enemy. This guy's been messing me up the whole time. Anyways, I'll go ahead and show you just how strong this can be. There's one more thing that I want to show you that synergizes with this build very well, specifically with the third ability. A lot of people don't know this. They think that the third ability is just a damage dealer, but this is also a supportive ability. We'll go ahead and jump into the build so I can show you. If we look straight to the third ability, it gives you extra status chance. And over time, you can deal a lot of crit, but the higher the enemy level goes, the more you kind of have to rely on status chance because the later you go on into levels, the stronger that status strategy is. And having this ability active, I mean, you and your allies don't even have to mod for status chance. It's that strong. You get almost 300% status chance from this build and extra status duration. That's not as important, but like I said earlier, with the epitaph, making sure you want to have enough status duration for the initial heat proc from your secondary weapon to stay on an enemy so that you keep siphoning overguard with your abilities. That status duration does come in handy. For more duration, I did have the molt efficiency. You can take this off and do whatever you want. This was just a comfy thing for me because I had an open slot. Molt Augmented was pretty much necessary for this build, as well as the Corrosive Projection if I wanted to full armor strip eventually with the Pillage. But even then, if you put on like one casting speed shard, you can easily just double cast this. And you're getting plenty of energy anyways from your first ability. You can see right here that it's a 137% chance with my strength for a health orb drop. With Equilibrium, you're getting plenty of energy back. I mean, converting the health orbs into energy, I'm every single time I get a kill, I'm getting energy. That's really good. Now, her passive, a lot of people don't know about this as well, but it scales up with the amount of health orbs that you pick up. So in your earlier on gameplay, you definitely want to be spamming your first ability. Later on, you don't have to spam it very much, but you want to scale that up as fast as you possibly can just to keep your allies alive. That's pretty much all I really have to say. I didn't like Citrine's fourth ability very much, so I did replace it with the Pillage for the armor strip. And that's all I really have to say. So we can just go ahead and cut straight into some gameplay. Sorry for the jump scare. I just want to talk to you about one more thing. This is the companion that I'm using, Nautilus Prime, specifically for this build. And Contagious Bond is really good with Citrine's third ability. Not only are you doing extra status chance, but your companion gets extra status chance as well. And with all those status effects running around, if your companion gets a kill, it can spread those status effects. You can essentially nuke. Like, not very often, but it's a nice surprise to see like a group of enemies just die from heat procs out of nowhere. So I definitely recommend getting your hands on Contagious Bond if you do want to run a Citrine build. You'd be surprised every now and then how things will just melt in front of you. That's pretty much all I have to say. Sorry for the interruption, and let's get right back into the gameplay. I'm going to go ahead and load into a public mission, because since Citrine is a support warframe, might as well have people to actually support in the gameplay. Most of my gameplay I do like to play solo, but I do like to play with friends a lot. So, since I like to support my friends, I do like to play a lot of support warframes. First thing that I like to do is place down my status chance buffer, as well as, surprisingly good damage in the center of a room. Really locks down the area. Like I said earlier, this third ability has a lot of range, and it takes a decent sized area. If anybody tries walking towards the center area and they take any damage, they are going to get hit by this. Let's actually contribute to this mission though. We have an Octavia, that's nice. You don't see this very often. Really strong warframe. I forgot to cast my second ability. You want to make sure that's active at pretty much all times. But look at all those damage procs over there. That's, if you see a blue number, that's my ability. Okay. Where are these guys at? Right here. Okay, now that we're not in a simulacrum, that's so many Eximus. I'll take their overguard. But, yeah. What I was saying was, you definitely want to use your... Oh, they're all Necros dudes. Okay, that's cool. I keep interrupting myself. I have ADHD. But, whenever you hit people with your first ability, it is supposed to scale up your passive. As you can see, I'm scaling up my passive right now. It wasn't working in the simulacrum for some reason. I don't know why. But in actual gameplay, you'll see that it goes up. Now it's 17 health per second. Really good stuff. You can see that this thing does damage through walls. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I have to grind this Belly of the Beast before it goes away. I've been really lazy on it. I like to hit people with my Epitaph. And siphon that overguard. Ever since the armor rework changes, you don't really need to full armor strip anymore. I mean, full armor stripping is definitely better than not full armor stripping, but you do get way more of a benefit than you did before. Man, those those Necros things really screw with me. Keep our second ability active. Keep our third ability active. Let's see how far this goes. If I hit these dudes, yeah, they're getting damaged from that ability through here. Okay, let's see what we can do about this guy. Where's he at? There he is. He called out my name, but he spawned over there. As you can see, I did just armor strip this guy. Look at all those status effects. Let's use the Epitaph to actually hit damage numbers on everybody. As you can see, I'm a support warframe, and I can tell by my Molt Augmented stacks up at the top right, I got 131 kills. That's pretty good for a support, and that's just passively. I'm just walking around, keeping the damage numbers on everybody. Warframe isn't all about the kills, though. You gotta remember that there are a lot of other Warframes out there. That's one of the reasons why I do like to play supports. They were not very popular. So I feel more useful whenever I actually load into a mission. If everybody's racing to get the kills, then, you know, eventually somebody's going to be better than you are, and you're not going to feel like you're doing very much if you're not getting many kills. So if you haven't tried very many support warframes, I recommend it. I feel useful. I did have a friend that used to play primarily support warframes, and he was pretty cool, but he would never keep up his actual support. So while I would be playing recklessly thinking that I would stay alive, I would die, and I would ask him when was the last time he actually casted an ability, and he would just stay silent. So don't be like him. Feel free to cast your abilities whenever you can. If you're going to play as a support, just remember to actually support. There we go. As you can see, once I've gotten a decent amount of kills, I can full armor strip. And once I start full armor stripping, this ability goes off. It deals so much damage. It's nuts. I start getting a lot of kills. Is that reaching all the way? Oh my god. That was reaching all the way over here. That's so surprising. Let me grab some of these ribbon slivers. Oh, you know what? That's on me. I shouldn't have been running around. I was on the exact opposite side of the map he was. As a support, I should be sticking with my teammates. But I'm thirsty for these ribbon slivers. There are 3 things you will always see me run hundreds of meters in a mission to grab. Ribbon slivers, because yes. Steel essence, because yes. And the Iatan amber stars and the cyan stars. And it goes without saying, but you know, if I'm gonna pick up those stars, I'm definitely gonna pick up the treasures as well. All 3 of those, you will see me run all the way to the spawn of a mission from extraction to grab. Let me actually focus more on the mission. Alright, we need a safe C. There we go. Now we need to save A. Now we need to save D. Octavia saved D. If we look over here, I'll pause my game real quick so you can see. 348% extra status chance. That is a lot of status chance. I'm helping the damage dealers deal more damage, and even me passively, I'm dealing so much more damage with status weapons. That's another reason why I recommend the Ogress. It has really low crit, and while there are gimmicks that you can do to like make a crit build with the Ogress, why not just lean into the status that it already has? There we go. Looks like the mission's over.
Your will was greater. This is
Alright, I'll make an... Wow, that's 1,000,000 credits. I'll make a gameplay video soon. I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.